Thank you so much. Twilighters, I don't know what to say. Hey, check it out. Hey, check it out. Hey, Ranger. It's our new boy. Partially why I haven't been super in the mix. He needs constant, consistent care, you know what I mean? So Ranger, is the handle we've come up with. And then my dear sweet co-host, Mr. Casey Fields, he saw him. And there's just such an ambitious look about this boy. And somehow it just fit. It's so ridiculous because when people assume a name from the case or whatever, it can be kind of corny. And Casey heard his name was Ranger, so he suggested, oh, Ranger Dick Powell. So I have a sweet puppy named after a figure in the case. The person who put Charles Manson behind that door. And those girls behind a corresponding door across the corridor. Crazy times, man. Want to thank you, Twilighters, so much for first supporting, and secondly for hopefully you've all subscribed. Just please, man, do us the solid and just subscribe on this bitch. But mainly what I wanted to say was the patience is much appreciated because for me, we're listening to different things. Casey was quoting a bunch of Sanders stuff, which I do have. I mean, it's right over there. But it's just, I never really paid it much mind. And he had a very different, interesting take on some of these different things that were going on early on in the meeting of, let me see, I've got a few copies here, so let me find my personal one. Here we go. For the meeting of Mary Bruner and Charlie, and there was a whole Darlene character that is very interesting to me. And when I'd heard Casey speak about, like, there was a different Darlene, I somehow got oddly confused. But it's all right here. I was so excited and pretty much running over Casey the whole time. I really apologize to the viewers. It's quite tedious on my part, but I had so many little points to make and things to corral, and I didn't want to do a pilot. I don't like pilots. Pilots suck. Okay, so here we go. The mean Darlene, who was obviously another of Ginger's beneficiaries, was actually pretty in the light. She claimed a section in the living room where she sat bent over, poster paper drawing. Ginger considered her a true artist. So we go on and on. It's right here. And again, this is my favorite of all the quote-unquote Manson books. This is incredible. So then we have it here. Mary in her second floor apartment, tall and sweet-faced, a natural blonde. Mary had recently quit her job as a librarian for the university down the block. She had straight birch blonde hair to her shoulders, round blue eyes, a straight nose, and a well-defined jaw. Poised and articulate, she easily made cornmeal muffins while she and Charlie talked. By the sound of it, we were all going to the woods, which is an incredible part of this book. When Lynette Fromme, he prefers to be called Red generally, and Mary Bruner head off with Charlie up into the Mendocino woods. It's a very fascinating story to me personally. I very much enjoy it. So that's going to come up in this book a little further on. But here we are on page 17 again. Darlene was pacing the living room when Charlie finally joined her. Their voices were too low for me to understand, but she was obviously angry. His tone was conciliatory, but she was unreconciled. The talk rose and fell. She was absolutely refusing something. He said something as if giving her permission or telling her he wasn't going to object. Then he walked out of the room. In less than half an hour, Darlene had gathered her belongings and called the big guy to come and take her away. It was so fast and final that I thought I ought to feel something, but I didn't, recalled Lynn. Again, on page 17. This is sometimes, in this first episode, why I got super redundant and unfortunately walked all over my co-host, Casey Fields, verbally, because these pages, if you look at this, we have a book that is into the 470 page count size, right? So over 450 pages to take in. This alone, there was so much information to take in. There was a whole episode that could have been done on just page 17 here, for example. So I didn't rebut what Casey was saying because we went from 1967 somehow to 1968 verbally. And I think that just happened because we're kind of excited. And I just was kicking the ever-living shit out of Casey because I was trying to define the show. Again, I don't like pilots. And it's because once you understand what the show is about, you can appreciate it. But it needs to be laid out. And so I was just trying to do that quickly, and unfortunately it came off pretty obnoxious. So thank you for your patience and indulgence. While Mary took a shower, Red continues here, Ms. Fromme, Charlie spoke highly of her. He and Darlene had been homeless until they'd knocked on Mary's door and she'd taken them in. Again, this is 1967, not 1968 as we mistakenly reported. He told of how funny it was when Mary had discovered him using her toothbrush. I was disgusted, said Lynn. He wouldn't be using my toothbrush. At the time, same time, I'd already imagined him kissing me. The attraction was disconcerting. Something about his moves and his casual postures made him interesting to watch. So that's why I triple down on pages all the time. This one, if you do not own a copy, I'm lucky enough to have a first pressing. This, to me, you can see how just well-worn, marked up, dog-eared it is, because it means this much to me. I use this book as my benchmark. A lot of people have different things. They like Helter Skelter, Goodbye to Helter Skelter, these different perspectives. You'll hear Stoner talk about the Nick Schreck book. Nick Schreck, I got the perspective from there, the Manson file. And then you've got all these different people speaking. Really? Could it be more obvious where the source material lies? There was no motivation for Lynette Fromme to come out with this book other than a kindness she was doing to us. She could have kept all these thoughts and all these things she'd been working on since the early 70s to herself. But rather than do that, she risked potentially bringing negative attention upon herself and having issues with various agencies and things potentially that are beyond my understanding. And so I can't comment on any of that. But the bravery it took with the self-sacrifice and lack of payout is very much appreciated, because I feel I have just really garnered a lot of not just information involving the case, but emotions involved in what Lynette felt in her commitment to her sisters and to Charlie and to a lot of the really positive, beautiful things that happened, because there's this huge lingering question that clouds everything Manson, and what they want to know is why would these women follow this infamous cult leader into the ranks of the most notorious bloodthirsty serial killers? Like, that's not what it's about, man. And she clears that up. And a lot of people don't even understand this book is available, that it was published, that you can just go have a copy of it. Just get a hard copy. Do yourself the kindness. The other one involving her, that just to have a scholarly book written about you is just incredible. This image and all this, I'm sure, was done by the publishers, and it's quite stark, and I feel pretty unflattering, honestly. I don't think it reflects the nature of the book. It's very off-putting, honestly, but Jess Braven did such a wonderful job. If you get a chance, also check out, I'll put a link here for the CNN reunion he did for the cast members and the legal team and everyone, the reporters, so the media pool and different people, on Lynette's 1975 trial. It's a very fascinating watch, and you can see his genuine affection for her, and there's a lot of respect. So that's what I want to share with you. We're not always going to get everything right. And thank you for not being so brutal. Clearly it was 67. Clearly they were in Berkeley. Clearly it was a second-story apartment. Clearly. I do really enjoy Casey's take, and that's what's super cool. He's coming from all different types of spaces. And the whole Sean thing, he was the one who hit me to the Sean documentary, and I just... it's very humbling and emotional for me to watch, because that young boy had a lot of great wisdom, clearly, and was exposed to a lot of things that were never going to happen again. So it is definitely a testament to the times. Thank you again, humbly, everyone who came before, all of your contributions, and all the people here supporting us. You know, you come from other channels. There's kind of a diaspora right now, and we are glad to have you. Please be kind to each other. Let's start over. If you've got any issues with anyone, this is Switzerland. Let's wash them away. We have new passports. We're all friends here. Let's speak kindly to one another, because I'm really proud to have you. And thank you for spending your time with myself, Casey, and producer Alex here on Twilight Garage. Thank you, Twilighters.